Okay, welcome back in. Going to be reviewing Wednesday, April 30th up until Friday, May 2nd from the National Hockey League playoffs. So on Wednesday we had three games. First one took place in Washington as the Capitals played host to the Montreal Canadiens. They had a 3-1 series lead heading into game number 5. The captain, Alex Ovechkin, would open up the start for Washington, getting his fourth goal of the series. Assisted by Dylan Strome, a power play goal, 9 minutes and 12 seconds of the first. Jacob Duchesne would increase the lead to 2-0, 11:15 of the first, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Pierre-Luc Dubois and Tom Wilson. Speaking of Tom Wilson, he'd get on the goal scorer sheet himself, getting his second goal of the series, assisted by John Carlson and Dylan Strome, a power play goal, 16:59 of the second period. The Capitals had a 3-0 lead heading into the third period. Emil Heinemann would get his first National Hockey League playoff goal, 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the third, assisted by Yoel Armia and Kapanen. Montreal would pull their goalie down by 2 goals. Unfortunately, they were not able to tie the game up. Brandon Duhaime would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his third goal of the playoffs from McMichael. And that goal happened with 26 seconds to go in the game. So the Capitals would win by a final score of 4-1 and take the series 4-1 as well. The next game took place in Tampa Bay as the Lightning and Panthers continued their Battle of Florida. In this best-of-7 series, the Panthers had a 3-1 series lead heading into game number 5, looking to close it out and advance to round number 2. Gage Congalvis would get his first National Hockey League playoff goal, assisted by Glenn Denning and Victor Hedman, 2 minutes and 33 seconds of the first. Carter Verhaeghe would tie the game up at 1, getting his second goal of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Reinhart, 5 minutes and 21 seconds of the first. Anton Lundell would give the Panthers a 2-1 lead, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Brad Marchand and Luosterainen, 10:06 of the first. Nick Paul would tie the game up at 2, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Geekie, 12:16 of the first period. Alexander Barkov would get his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Forsling and Luosterainen, just 52 seconds of the second period, giving the Panthers a 3-2 lead. Jake Guentzel would tie the game up at 3, getting his third goal of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Victor Hedman, 9 minutes and 57 seconds of the second period, tying the game up at 3. Sam Bennett would give the Panthers the lead again, getting his third goal of the playoffs, assisted by Lundell and Luosterainen, 15:13 of the second period. Speaking of Luosterainen, he got his first goal of the playoffs. So not only did he get a couple of assists, he got a goal as well, giving the Panthers a 5-3 lead, and that goal would be assisted by Brad Marchand and Anton Lundell, 13:03 of the third period. The Lightning were down by 2 goals. Unfortunately, they were not able to tie it up as Sam Reinhart would get his second goal of the playoffs, an empty net goal, unassisted, 15:36 of the third period, sealing this game for the Panthers. They would double up on the Lightning 6-3, making quick work of Tampa, and they're off to round number 2. Game 5 between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. The series was tied at 2 heading into this particular game. Kyle Connor would open up the scoring for Winnipeg, getting his fourth goal of the playoffs, assisted by Scheifele and Mason Appleton, 1:23 of the first. Nathan Walker with his first National Hockey League playoff goal, tying the game up at 1, assisted by Parayko and Cam Fowler with 8 assists. Pretty sure he leads the league as of now in points by a defenseman. 3 minutes and 42 seconds of the first, tying the game up at 1. Nito Niederreiter would break the tie, 8:39 of the first, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assist by Sandberg and Neil Pionk. Jimmy Snuggerud would tie the game up at 2, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Robert Thomas, 6:06 of the second period. Dylan DeMello would give the Jets a 3-2 lead, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Kyle Connor and Namestnikov, 11:05 of the second period. Speaking of Namestnikov, he'd get on the goal scorer sheet himself, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Kyle Connor and Mason Appleton, 18:51 of the second period. The Jets had a 4-2 lead. The Blues were down by 2 goals in the third. They pulled their goalie. Unfortunately, they were not able to tie it up. Adam Lowry would get his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Niederreiter and Mason Appleton, 16:47 of the third, increasing the lead to 5-2. Nathan Walker would cut the lead to 5-3, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Radek Faksa and Torpachenko, and that goal happened with 53 seconds to go in the game, and that's where we'd stand at the end of regulation. The Jets would hold off the Blues' comeback. 5-3 would be the final score. All right, Thursday, May 1st, the first day of May, we had 4 games on tap, and all of them were potential elimination games. Starting in Canada's nation's capital, as the Ottawa Senators played host to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Sens were hoping to pull off the reverse sweep. After trailing the series 3-0, the Leafs had a 3-2 series lead heading into game number 6. Austin Matthews would score, opening up the scoring for the Leafs, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Marner and William Nylander, a power play goal, 18:50 of the first period. I was going to say this as a quick little side note. Anytime that trio is on the ice, it is extremely dangerous, to say the least. William Nylander would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Max Pacioretty, 43 seconds into the middle frame. Brady Tkachuk, the captain for the Ottawa Senators, would cut into the lead, getting his fourth goal of the playoffs, assisted by Chabot and Claude Giroux, 7:28 of the second period. David Perron would tie the game up with 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Chabot. Not too long after that, Max Pacioretty would get his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Max Domi and Holmberg, 14:21 of the third period, giving the Leafs a late 3-2 lead. Ottawa would pull their goalie in hopes of tying the game up. Unfortunately, they were not able to, as William Nylander would get his second goal of the game, his third goal of the series, assisted by Scott Laughton, and that goal happened with 19 seconds to go in the first. The Leafs doubled up on the Senators 4-2, taking the series 4-2 as well, and they have now advanced to the second round of the playoffs. The Minnesota Wild were playing host to the Vegas Golden Knights, and despite the fact that the Wild at one point did have a 2-1 series lead, unfortunately they found themselves trailing 3-2 heading into game number 6. Shea Theodore would open up the scoring for the Vegas Golden Knights in the first, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Olofsson and Jack Eichel, a power play goal to note. Ryan Hartman would tie the game up at 1 with just 4 seconds to go in the first, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Marcus Foligno. So we were all tied up at 1 heading into the second. Jack Eichel would break the tie, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Mark Stone and McNabb, 16 minutes and 12 seconds of the second period. Mark Stone would increase the lead to 3-1, 16:02 of the third, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by McNabb and Shea Theodore. Ryan Hartman would get his second goal of the game, his second goal of the series, assisted by Johansson and Middleton. And that goal happened with 3 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the third. Unfortunately, Minnesota fell just short of a comeback, and they would lose this series 4-2. So the Vegas Golden Knights are on to round number 2. And with that game being done, Marc-Andre Fleury, the backup for the Minnesota Wild, who saw a little bit of action in game number 5, has called it a career, and I am hoping I can do a career video of Marc-Andre Fleury in the near future. All right, now we're off to game number 6 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. The Stars had a 3-2 series lead heading into game number 6. Valeri Nichushkin would kick things off for the Colorado Avalanche, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Brock Nelson and Gabriel Landeskog, 6:29 of the first period. Arturi Lehkonen would get his third goal of the playoffs, assisted by Cale Makar and Martin Necas, 18:40 of the first period. The Avalanche had a 2-0 lead at that point. Roope Hintz would cut into the lead, getting his third goal of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Mikko Rantanen and Wyatt Johnston, 1:18 of the second period. Michael Granlund would get his first playoff goal for the Stars, assisted by Roope Hintz and Mikko Rantanen, 3 minutes and 41 seconds of the second period, tying the game up at 2. Martin Necas would get his first playoff goal with the Colorado Avalanche, assisted by Cale Makar and Devon Toews, 4:34 of the second period, giving the Avalanche a 3-2 lead. Roope Hintz would score again, getting his second goal of the game, his fourth of the series, assisted by Mikko Rantanen, 7 minutes and 51 seconds of the second period, tying the game up at 3. Mikko Rantanen would score his second goal of the series against his former team, assisted by Roope Hintz and Cody Ceci, and that goal happened with 1 minute and 25 seconds to go in the second period. 6 minutes and 2 seconds into the third, the Avalanche would tie the game up at 4, courtesy of Valeri Nichushkin, who got his second goal of the game, his third of the series, assisted by Landeskog and Brock Nelson. Nathan MacKinnon would break the tie 9 minutes and 4 seconds of the third, getting his 6th goal of the series, and the Avalanche would not look back after this. Josh Manson would get an empty net goal, assisted by Nathan MacKinnon, increasing the lead to 6-4 with 1 minute and 16 seconds to go in the third. And then the Stars still pulled their goalie. Cale Makar would strike, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by MacKinnon, and that goal happened with 57 seconds to go in the game. So the Avalanche would win this game by a final score of 7-4. And speaking of 7, it's going to be the first Game 7 of the 2025 playoffs once Saturday comes around between the Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. Can't wait to see that. All right, the last game from Thursday, May 1st, took place in Edmonton as the Oilers played host to the Los Angeles Kings in Game 6 of their best-of-7 series. The Oilers, after trailing 2-0, looked like a completely different team from Games 3 to 5, had a 3-2 series lead heading into this particular matchup. Quinton Byfield would score early in the first, getting his third goal of the playoffs, assisted by Fiala and Lafayette, 1:19 of the first. Adam Henrique would tie the game up at 1, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Connor Brown and Frederick, 3 minutes and 4 seconds of the first period. Just 21 seconds after that, 23 seconds after that, Brand Clark would give the Kings a 2-1 lead, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Philippe Deneau, 3 minutes and 37 seconds of the first. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would tie the game up at 2, getting his third goal of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman, 5:55 of the first. Speaking of Zach Hyman, he would give the Oilers a 3-2 lead, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Darnell Nurse and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 12:49 of the first period. So the Edmonton Oilers had a 3-2 lead heading into period number 2. Darnell Nurse would score with just about 5 minutes to go of the playoffs, assisted by Podkolzin and Janmark. The Oilers had a 4-2 lead at that point. Trent Frederick would increase the lead to 5-2, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Connor Brown and Brett Kulak, 16:35 of the second period. The Oilers had a 5-2 lead. Jordan Spence would score with just under a hair, just a hair under 2 minutes remaining in the second, getting his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Kevin Fiala and Hellenius. So the Oilers had a 5-3 lead heading into the third and final frame. No, I'm just kidding. Anze Kopitar scored with 55 seconds to go. No, this was in the third. I apologize. Anze Kopitar would score with 55 seconds to go in the third, cutting the lead to 5-4, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Drew Doughty and Lafreniere. And then Connor Brown scored with, I think it was just over a second to go in the game, getting an empty net goal, his third of the playoffs, unassisted. And the Oilers would go hang on to win by a final score of 6-4, winning the series in 6 games. So as I said before, they'd drop the first 2 games in LA, and they would win 4 straight games. Wow. Can I English today? Good God. With their backup, Calvin Pickard. All right, and the last game that I'm going to get caught up on, finally, took place in St. Louis as the Blues played host to the Winnipeg Jets in Game 6 of their best-of-7 series. Philip Broberg would open up the scoring in the first, getting his first of the playoffs, assisted by Robert Thomas, and Snuggerud 6:05 of the opening frame. Cole Perfetti would tie the game up at 1, getting his first goal of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey. 5:43 of the second period. After that, it was like an onslaught of goals for the St. Louis Blues. Nathan Walker would score, giving the Blues a 2-1 lead, his third of the playoffs, assisted by Broberg and Radek Faksa. 11:34 of the second period. Less than a minute after that, the captain Braden Shen would give the Blues a 3-1 lead, his second of the playoffs, assisted by Neighbors and Ryan Sutter. 12:27 of the second period. A minute and 13 seconds after that, Cam Fowler would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Parayko and Torpachenko. Alexei Torpachenko would increase the lead to 5-1, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Radek Faksa. 16:57 of the second period, the Blues had a commanding 5-1 lead. In the third period, Nino Niederreiter would get his second goal of the playoffs on the power play from Mason Appleton and Namestnikov. 8:54 of the third period. Unfortunately for the Jets, that's as close as they would get. And the Blues have now forced a Game 7 on Sunday, and I couldn't be more excited. My favorite 2 words in all of sports, especially when it comes to playoff series, is game number 7. It's a lot of pressure on the home team to close it out, and it's a lot of pressure on the away team to pull it off away from their home barn. So now we'll take a look at the playoffs. So starting on the left-hand corner on the very top, the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues, as I previously just talked about, they will be playing a Game 7 on Sunday. The Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche will be playing a Game 7 on Saturday. As for the rest of the playoff series, the second round is pretty much all set. The Vegas Golden Knights defeated the Minnesota Wild 4-2. They've advanced to round number 2. The Edmonton Oilers also won their series in 6 games, 4-2 over the Los Angeles Kings. So it will be Vegas and Edmonton in the second round of the playoffs from the Pacific Division. On the top right-hand corner, the Leafs defeated the Ottawa Senators in 6 games. They're off to round number 2 for the second time in 3 years. The Florida Panthers have defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning in back-to-back years, this time in 5 games. They are off to face the Leafs for the second time in 3 years. The Washington Capitals defeated the Montreal Canadiens 4-1. They've advanced to the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2018. And for the 5th straight year, the Carolina Hurricanes have advanced to the second round of the playoffs after defeating the New Jersey Devils in 5 games. So it will be a Washington and Carolina second round series in the Metropolitan Division. So all that's left to be decided is in the Central, between the Jets, the Blues, and the Stars, and the Avalanche. All right, that's going to take care of this video. I'm pretty much caught up right now When it comes to the Stanley Cup playoffs, as always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative as well. Until next time, and as always, take care.